All glory to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glory to Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila, Chapter 17, Text 148. Prabhura Viraheti Ne Ekatra Miliya Prabhu Guna Gana Kare Preme Matahana. Feeling separation from the Lord, the three used to meet and glorify the holy qualities of the Lord. Thus they were absorbed in ecstatic love. 149. Prayage Asiya Prabhu Kailave Nishnana Madhava Dekhiya Preme Kaila Mritya Gana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to Prayag, where he bathed at the confluence of the Ganges and the Yamuna. He then visited the temple of Vani, Madhava, and chanted and danced there in ecstatic love. The city of Prayag is situated a few miles from the city of Allahabad. The name Prayag is given due to successful sacrifices performed there. It is said, Prakrishto Yago Yaga Phalam Yasmat. If one performs sacrifices at Prayag, he certainly gets immediate results without difficulty. Prayag is also called Tirtharaja, the king of all places of pilgrimage. This holy place is situated on the confluence of the rivers Ganges and Yamuna. Every year, a fair takes place there known as Magha Mela, and every 12 years, Kumbha Mela is also held. In any case, many people come to bathe there every year. During Magha Mela, people from the local district generally come, and during Kumbha Mela, people come all over India and live there and bathe in the Ganges and Yamuna. Whoever goes there immediately feels like the place's spiritual influence. A fort located there was constructed by the Emperor Akbar about 500 years ago, and near the fort is a place called Triveni. On the other side of Prayag is an old place known as Pratisthana-pura. It is also well known as Junsi. Many saintly people live there, and consequently it is very attractive from the spiritual point of view. 150. Yamuna dekhiya preme pade jan padiya astevyaste bhattacharya utaya dhariya. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the river Yamuna, he threw himself into it. Balabhadra Bhattacharya hastily caught the Lord and very carefully raised him up again. 151. Ehi mata tina tina prayage rahila Krishna nama premadiya loka nistarila. The Lord stayed at Prayag for 3 days. He delivered the holy name of Krishna in ecstatic love. Thus he delivered many people. 152. Mathura chalite pate yatarahi yaya Krishna nama premadiya lokere nachaya. Wherever the Lord stopped to rest on the way to Mathura, he delivered the holy name of Krishna in ecstatic love of Krishna. Thus he made the people dance. 153. Purvehena dakshina yaite loka nistarila Paschima deshe tarche sabha vaishnava karila. When the Lord toured South India, he delivered many people. And when he traveled in the western sector, he similarly converted many people to Vaishnavism. Purport. Formerly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted people when he toured South and West India. Similarly, the Hare Krishna movement is now delivering people of the Western world wherever devotees are chanting the holy names. This is all being done by the Lord's mercy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that he would deliver people in every city and village of the world by giving them a chance to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. 154. Pateya nyahan hoya yamuna darshana tahan janpadiya pade preme achetana. While the Lord was going to Mathura, he came across the river Yamuna several times, and as soon as he saw the river Yamuna, he would immediately jump in, falling unconscious in the water in the ecstasy of love of Krishna. 155. Mathura nikhate aila Mathura dekhiya Madhava khana pare premhavistahana. When he approached Mathura and saw the city, he immediately fell to the ground and offered obeisances with great ecstatic love. 156. Mathura asiya kaila vishranti tirte snana janmastane keshava dekhi karila pranama. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the city of Mathura, he took his bath at Vishnupad. He then visited the birthplace of Krishna and saw the deity named Keshavaji. He offered his respectful obeisances to this deity. At the present moment, at the temple of Keshavaji is very much improved. At one time, Keshavaji Mandir was attacked by the emperor Aurangzeb, who constructed such a big mosque that the temple of Keshavaji was insignificant in comparison. But with the help of many rich Marwaris, the temple has been improved, and a very large temple is now being constructed so that the mosque is now appearing diminished in comparison. Many archaeological discoveries have been made there, and many people from foreign countries are beginning to appreciate Krishna's birthplace. This Krishna consciousness movement is attracting many foreigners to the Keshavaji temple, and now they will also be attracted by the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan. 157. Premanande nashegaya sagana hunkara Prabhura prema vesha dekhi loke chamatkara. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted, danced, and made loud vibrations, all the people were astonished to see his ecstatic love. 158. Eka vipra pade prabhura charana dariya Prabhu sange nritya kare prema vishtahana. One Brahmana fell at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then began to dance with him in ecstatic love. 159. Dunhe preme nritya kari kare kola kuri Hari Krishna kaha dunhe vale bahu turi. The two of them danced in ecstatic love and embraced each other. Raising their arms, they said, "Chant the holy names of Hari and Krishna." 160. Loka Hari Hari Balin Kola Hala Haila Keshava Seva Ka Prabhu Ke Nala Parahila. All the people then began to chant, "Hari, Hari," and there was a great uproar. The priest in Lord Keshava's service offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a garland. 161. Loke kahe Prabhu dekhi hana vishmaya Aichehena prema laukika Aichehena prema laukika bunaya. When the people saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing and chanting, they were struck with wonder, and they all said, "Such transcendental love is never an ordinary thing." 162. Yanhara darshane loke preme matahana ase kandena se gaya Krishna namalana. The people said, simply by saying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone is maddened with love of Krishna. Indeed, everyone is laughing, crying, dancing, chanting, and taking the holy name of Krishna. 163. Sarvata Nishchita Inho Krishna Avatara Mathura Aila Lokera Karite Nishtara. Certainly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in all respects the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Now he has come to Mathura to deliver everyone. 164. Tave Mahaprabhu Sei Brahmane Lahana Tanhare Pochila Kichu Nibrite Vishya. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the Brahmana aside. Sitting in a solitary place, the Lord began to question him. 165. Aryasara Latumi Vridha Brahmana Kahan Hoite Paile Tumi E Prema Dana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You are an elderly Brahmana, you are sincere, and you are advanced in spiritual life. Wherefrom have you gotten this transcendental opulence of ecstatic love for Krishna?" 166. Viprakahe Sripada Sri Madhavendra Puri Brahmite Brahmite Aila Mathura Nagari. The Brahmana replied, "His Holiness Srila Madhavendra Puri came to the city of Mathura while he was on tour." 167. Kripakari Teno Mora Nilaye Aila Mone Sishyakari Mora Hate Bhiksha Kaila. While at Mathura, Sripad Madhavendra Puri visited my house and accepted me as a disciple. He even took lunch at my home. 168. Bhupala Prakatakari Seva Kaila Mahashaya Adyapi Hatanhara Seva Govardhanehaya. After installing the deity of Gopal, Srila Madhavendra Puri rendered him service. That very deity is still being worshipped at Govardhan Hill. 169. Suni Prabhu Kailatamra Charana Bandhana Vayapana Prabhu Paya Adila Brahmana. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about Madhavendra Puri's relationship with the Brahmana, he immediately offered obeisances at his feet. Becoming fearful, the Brahmana also immediately fell at the Lord's feet. 170. Prabhu kahe tumi guru ami sishya praya Guru hana sishye namaskara na yuyaya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You are on the platform of my spiritual master, and I am your disciple. Since you are my spiritual master, it is not befitting that you offer me obeisances." 171. Sumiya Vishmita Vipra Kahe Bhaya Pana Aicheba Kaha Kene Sannyasi Hana. Upon hearing this, the Brahmana became afraid. He then said, "Why do you speak like this? You are a sannyasi." 172. Kintu tomhara prema dekhi mane anumani Madhavendra Puri Rag Sambandha Dhara Jani. Upon seeing your ecstatic love, I can just imagine you must have some relationship with Madhavendra Puri. This is my understanding. 173. Krishna Prema Tanhayanha Tanhara Sambandha Tahanvina E Premhara Kahanahi Ganda. This kind of ecstatic love can be experienced only when one has a relationship with Madhavendra Puri. Without him, even a scent of such transcendental ecstatic love is impossible. 174. Tape bata charyatare sambandha kahila suniya nandita vipra nachite lagila. Balabhadra Bhattacharya then explained the relationship between Madhavendra Puri and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After hearing this, the Brahmana became very pleased and began to dance. 175. Tabe vipra prabhure lana ailani jagare apana ichaya prabhura nana sevakare. The Brahmana then took Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home and out of his own free will began to serve the Lord in various ways. 176. Vikshalagi Bhattacharya Karaila Randhana Tabe Mahaprabhu Asibhavila Vachana. He asked Balabhadra Bhattacharya to cook Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lunch. At that time, the Lord, smiling, spoke as follows. "177. Puri Goshani Tomhara Gare Kara Chanya Diksha More Tumi Diksha Deha Ei Mora Siksha." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Madhavendra Puri has already taken lunch at your place. Therefore you may cook and give me the food. That is my instruction." 178. Yadhyada charatis restas tathadeva taro jana sayat para manam krute lokastad anuvartate. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. This is a quotation from Bhagavad Gita 3.21. 179. Yadyapi sanodiyahaya seta brahmana sanodiyagare sanyasi akare bhojana. The Brahmana belonged to the Sanodiya Brahmana community, and a sannyasi does not accept food from such a Brahmana. Purport. In northwest India, Vaishyas are divided into various subdivisions. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur points out that they are divided as Agarwal, Kalawar, and Sanwada. Out of them, Agarwals are said to be first-class Vaishyas. And the Kalawars and Sanwads are considered lower due to their occupational degradation. The Kalawars generally take wine and other intoxicants. Although they are Vaishyas, they are considered to belong to a lower class. The priests who guide the Kalawars and the Sanwadas are called Sanodiya Brahmanas. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur states that the word Sanoyada in Bengal indicates Suvarna Vanik. In Bengal, there are priests who guide the Suvarna Vanik community, which is also considered a lower class. There is little difference between the Sandvadas and the Suvarna Vaniks. Generally, the Suvarna Vaniks are bankers dealing in gold and silver. In western India, the Agarwals also belong to the banking profession. This is the original business of the Suvarna Vanik or Agarwal community. Historically, the Agarwals come from the up-country named Ayodhya, and the Suvarna Vanik community also come from Ayodhya. It therefore appears that the Suvarniks and the Agarwals belong to the same community. The Sanodiya Brahmanas were the guides of the Kalawars and Sanwadas. They are therefore considered to be lower-class Brahmanas, and a sannyasi is not allowed to take the alms or food from them. However, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted lunch cooked by Sanodiya Brahmana simply because he belonged to Madhavendra Puri's community. Srila Madhavendra Puri was the spiritual master of Ishvara Puri, who was the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus, a spiritual relationship is established on the spiritual platform, without consideration of material inferiority or superiority. 180. Tatapi Puri Deki Tanra Vaishnava Achara Sishyakari Tanra Diksha Kaila Angikara. Although the Brahmana belonged to the Sanodiya community, Srila Madhavendra Puri has seen that he behaved like a Vaishnava, and therefore he accepted him as a disciple. The food he had cooked had also been accepted by Madhavendra Puri. 181. Mahaprabhu Tamreyari Viksha Magila Dinyakari Sei Vipra Kahite Lagila. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu willingly requested food from the Brahmana, and the Brahmana, feeling natural humility, began to speak as follows. 182. Tomare Bhiksha Diva Bada Bhaja Se Amara Tumi Isvara Nahi Tomara Vidhi Vyadbhara. It is a great fortune for me to offer you food. You are the Supreme Lord, and being in the transcendental position, you are not restricted in any way. 183. Murkhaloka karibeka tomara nindana sahite na parimuse ustera vachana. Foolish people will blaspheme you, but I shall not tolerate the words of such mischievous people. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that although the Brahmana did not belong to a superior community, he fearlessly chastised so-called caste Brahmins because he was situated on the platform of pure devotional service. There are people who are opposed to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, accepting a Vaishnava belonging to a lower caste. Such people do not consider Mahaprasad transcendental, and therefore they are described here as Murkha, foolish, and Dusta, mischievous. A pure devotee has the power to challenge such high caste people, and his brave statements are not to be considered proud or puffed up. On the contrary, he is to be considered straightforward. Such a person does not like to flatter high-class brahmanas who belong to the non-Vaishnava community. (184) Prabhu kahe smrti yatarishi gana sabe kamata nahe bina bina dharma. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, the Vedas, Puranas, and great learned sages are not always in agreement with one another. Consequently, there are different religious principles. Purport: unless one comes to the absolute truth, there is no possibility of agreement. It is said that a great learned scholar or sage cannot be exalted unless he disagrees with other scholars and sages. On the material platform, there is no possibility of agreement. Therefore, there are different kinds of religious systems. But the absolute truth is one. And when one is situated in the absolute truth, there is no disagreement. On the absolute platform, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipable. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.55, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyas jasmi tattvata. On the absolute platform, the worshipful deity is one, and the process of worship is also one. That process is bhakti. There are many different religions throughout the world because they are not all on the absolute platform of devotional service. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 18.66, Sarva dharmam parityaga mamikam sharanam vraja. The word ekam means one, Krishna. On this platform, there are no different religious systems. According to Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2, Dharma prajohita katayavotra. On the material platform, religious systems are different. Srimad Bhagavatam describes them from the very beginning as dharma ketava, cheating religions. None of these religions is actually genuine. The genuine religious system is that which enables one to become a lover of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the words of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.6, Savai Puncham Paro Dharmo Tato Bhaktir Adhokshaje Ahaituki Apratithata Yatma Suprasidhati. The supreme occupation, Dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the Transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. On this platform, there is nothing but service to the Lord. When a person has no ulterior motive, there is certainly oneness and agreement of principles. Since everyone has a different body and mind, different types of religions are needed. But when one is situated on the spiritual platform, there are no bodily or mental differences. Consequently, on the absolute platform, there is oneness in religion. 185. Dharmastapana hetu sadhurabhyabhara Udhigoshanira ye archarana se dharmasara. A devotee's behavior establishes the true purpose of religious principles. The behavior of Madhavendra Puri Goswami is the essence of such religious principles. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following commentary on this passage. A sadhu, or honest man, is called a Mahajana, or Mahatma. The Mahatma is described thus by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 9.13. Mahatmanas tumam karta tavim prakrutim ashrita bhajanti hanyaya manaso yatvam bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. The material world, the word Mahatma, is understood in different ways by different religionists. Mundaners also come up with different angles of vision. For the conditioned soul, busy in sense gratification, Mahajana is recognized according to the proportion of sense gratification he offers. For instance, a businessman may consider a certain banker to be a Mahajana, and karmis desiring material enjoyment may consider philosophers like Jaimini to be Mahajanas. There are many yogis who want to control the senses, and for them Patanjali Rishi is a Mahajana. For the Jnanis, the atheist Kapila, Vasista, Dvarvasa, Dattreya, and other impersonalist philosophers are Mahajanas. For the demons Hiranyakashipu, for the demons Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana's son Meghanada, Jarasandha, and others are accepted as Mahajanas. For materialistic anthropologists speculating on the evolution of the body, a person like Darwin is a Mahajana. The scientists who are bewildered by Krishna's external energy have no relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yet they are accepted by some as Mahajanas. Similarly, philosophers, historians, literary men, public speakers, social and political leaders are sometimes accepted as Mahajanas. Such Mahajanas are respected by certain men who have been described in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.19. Svavid varahostra karai samstuta purusha pashu nayat karna pato peto jatu nama kadhagraja. Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. Thus, on the material platform, animalistic leaders are worshipped by animals. Sometimes physicians, psychiatrists, and social workers try to mitigate bodily pain, distress, and fear, but they have no knowledge of spiritual identity and are bereft of relationship with God. Yet they are considered Mahajanas by the illusioned. Self-derived persons sometimes accept leaders or spiritual masters from a priestly order that has been officially appointed by the codes of material life. In this way, they are deceived by official priests. Sometimes people act as Mahajanas, those who have been designated by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur as Danga Vipras, imposter Brahmanas. Such impostors imitate the characteristics of Srila Haridas Thakur, and they envy Haridas Thakur, who is certainly a Mahajana. They make great artificial endeavors, advertising themselves as great devotees of the Lord, or as mystic hypnotists, knowledgeable in witchcraft, hypnotism, and miracles. Sometimes people accept Mahajanas, demons like Putana, Trinavarta, Vatsa, Baka, Agasura, Dhenuka, Kaliya, and Pralamba. Some people accept imitators and adversaries of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such as Pundraka, Tragala, Vasudeva, the spiritual master of the demons, Sukracharya, or atheists like Charavaka, King Vina, Sugata, and Arhat. People who accept such imitators as Mahajanas have no faith in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they accept godless characters, godless cheaters who present themselves as incarnations of God and cheat foolish people within the material world by word jugglery. Thus, many rascals are accepted as Mahajanas. It is those who are devoid of devotional service who sometimes mistakenly accept persons with mundane motives as Mahajanas. The only motive must be Krishna Bhakti, devotional service to the Lord. Sometimes fruitive workers, dry philosophers, non-devotees, mystic yogis, and persons attached to material opulence, women, and money are considered Mahajanas. The Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.25 gives the following statement about such unauthorized Mahajanas. Prayena Veda Tadidam Namahajanayam Nevya Vimha Vimohita Matir Bata Ayayalam Trayam Jadi Krita Matir Madhu Puspitayam Vetanike Mahatikar Mani Yujanmana. In this material world, karmis, fruitive actors, are accepted as Mahajanas by foolish people who do not know the value of devotional service. The mundane intelligence and mental speculative methods of such foolish people are under the control of the three modes of material nature. Consequently, they cannot understand unalloyed devotional service. They are attracted by material activities, and they become worshippers of material nature. Thus they are known as fruitive actors. They even become entangled in material activities disguised as spiritual activities. In the Bhagavad Gita, such people are described as Veda Vadharata, supposed followers of the Vedas. They do not understand the real purport of the Vedas, yet they think themselves as Vedic authorities. People versed in the Vedic knowledge must know Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita 15.15. In this material world, a person may become famous as a karma vira, a successful fruitive worker, or he may be very successful in performing religious duties, or he may be known as a hero in mental speculation, jnana vira, or he may be very famous for nunci. In any case, Srimad Bhagavatam 3.23.56 gives the following opinions in this matter. Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragya kalpate, vatirtha pada sevai jivam apimruta hi saha. Anyone whose work is not meant for elevating him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. The conclusion is that all pious activity, fruitive activity, religious principles, and renunciation must ultimately lead to devotional service. There are different types of processes for rendering service. One may serve his country, people, and society. The Varnashram Dharma system. The sick, the poor, the rich, women, demigods, and so on. All this service comes under the heading of sense gratification, or enjoyment in the material world. It is most unfortunate that people are more or less attracted by such material activity, and that the leaders of these activities are accepted as Mahajanas, great ideal leaders. Actually, they are only misleaders, but an ordinary man cannot understand how he is being misled. Narottam Das Thakur says, Hadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chittete Kariya Ekya. One should accept as one's guide the words of the sadhus, the Shastra, and the Guru. A sadhu is a great personality like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Shastras are the injunctions of revealed scriptures. And the Guru, or spiritual master, is one who confirms the spiritual injunctions. Accepting the guidance of these three is the actual way of following the great personalities, Mahajanas, for real advancement in life. Mahajano yena gata sapantaha. A man covered by illusion cannot understand the proper way. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Dharmastapana hetu sadhura vyavhara. The behavior of a devotee is the criterion for all other behavior. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself followed the devotional principles and taught others to follow them. Puri goshanira ye acharana se dharma sara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally followed the behavior of Madhavendra Puri and advised others to follow his principles. Unfortunately, people have been attracted to the material body since time immemorial. Yashyatma buddhi kunhape tri daktuke. Svadihi kalatradishu bhauma ija dihi. Yatirtha buddhi savile na karich. Janis abhijanusu sa eva go karaha. A human being who identifies this body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, who consider his land of birth worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to take a bath rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like an ass or a cow. Bhagavad Gita 10.84. Bhagavatam 10.84.13. Those who accept logic of Gadhalika Prabhaha and follow in the footsteps of pseudo Mahajanas are carried away by the waves of Maya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur therefore warns, Niche Mayhara Vase Gache Beshe Kacha Habudhuba Bai Jiva Krishna Dasa E Vishvasa Karele Ta Ara Dukha Nai. Don't be carried away by the waves of Maya. Just surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna and all miseries will end. Those who follow social customs and behaviors forget to follow the path chalked out by the Mahajanas. Thus they are offenders at the feet of the Mahajanas. Sometimes they consider such Mahajanas very conservative, or they create their own Mahajanas. In this way they ignore the principles of the Parampara system. This is a great misfortune for everyone. If one does not follow in the footsteps of the real Mahajanas, one's plans for happiness will be frustrated. This is elaborately explained later in the Madhya Lila, chapter 25, verses 55, 56, and 58. It is there stated, Parama karana isfare keha nahi mane, swasva mata stape para matera kandane. Tate chaya darshana haite tatva nahi jani, mahajana yehi kahe sehi satyamani. Krishna Chaitanya Vani Amritera Dara Tinho Ye Kaha Ye Vastu Sehi Tattva Sara. People are so unfortunate that they do not accept the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Instead, they want to be supported by so-called Mahajanas or authorities. Tate Chaya Darshana Hoite Tattva Nahijan. We cannot ascertain the real truth simply by following speculators. We have to follow the footsteps of the Mahajanas in the disciplic succession. Then our attempt will be successful. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Vani Amritera Dhara. Whatever is spoken by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an incessant flow of nectar. Whoever accepts his words as reality can understand the essence of the absolute truth. No one can ascertain the absolute truth by following the philosophy of Sankhya or the yoga system of Patanjali. For neither are followers of Sankhya nor the yogis who follow Patanjali accept Lord Vishnu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nate vidhu svarta gatim hi Vishnu. The ambition of such people is never fulfilled. Therefore they are attracted by external energy. Although mental speculators may be renowned all over the world as great authorities, actually they are not. Such leaders are themselves conservative and not at all liberal. However, if we preach this philosophy, people will consider Vaishnavas very sectarian. Srila Madhavendra Puri was a real Mahajana, but misguided people cannot distinguish the real from the unreal. But a person who is awakened to Krishna consciousness can understand the real religious path chalked out by the Lord and his pure devotees. Sri Madhavendra Puri was a real Mahajana because he understood the absolute truth properly, and throughout his life behaved like a pure devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved the method of Sri Madhavendra Puri. Therefore, although the material viewpoint, the Sanhodiyas Brahmana, was on the lower platform, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered him situated on the highest platform of spiritual realization. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.20 states that there are 12 Mahajanas: Brahma, Narada, Shambhu, the four Kumars, Kapila, Manu, Prahlad, Janaka, Bhisma, Bali, Sukadev, and Yamaraj. To select our Mahajanas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, we have to follow the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his representatives. His next representative is Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami, and the next representative are the six Goswamis: Sri Rupa, Sri Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva, Gopala Bhatta, and Dasa Raghunath. A follower of Vishnu Swamis was Sridhar Swami, the most well-known commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam. He was also a Mahajana. Similarly, Chandidas, Vidyapati, and Jayadev were all Mahajanas. One who tries to imitate the Mahajanas just to become an imitated spiritual master is certainly far away from following in the footsteps of the Mahajanas. Sometimes people cannot actually understand how a Mahajana follows other Mahajanas. In this way, people commit offenses and fall from devotional service. Thus ends our reading for today. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Please accept my humble dandavat. Nitai Gaura Haribol.